Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat mga kaibigan. Magkakasama tayo sa ating tapatan sa Aristocrat. At mahalaga ang ating pag-uusapan ngayong araw na ito. Ngayon po ang ika-7 anibersaryo ng ating weekly forum. Pwede pong ihambing ang ating forum na ito sa isang roller coaster. Merong ups, merong downs, maraming mga challenge or headwinds. But we made it. After 7 years, we can say thank you. It may have been an up and down episode every now and then, but it's not necessarily the ups and the downs, but it's the view na nakikita samantalang sakay ka sa roller coaster. We'd like to say thank you to our friends from Aristocrat for being our home for the past 7 years. At mamaya mapapakinggan natin ang mensahe ng Pangulo ng Aristocrat group of companies. Ganun din po naman, may mga panauhin tayo who are newsmakers, lalo pat may kinalaman ito sa ating ekonomiya matapos ang COVID-19. We'd like also to pay tribute to our colleagues who have gone ahead. Ang pinakahuli po namin regular na panauhin ay ang namayapang si Commodore Rex Robles kahapon due to a heart attack at the Veterans Memorial Medical Center. So we'd like to begin our discussions this morning with a prayer from our friend, Bishop Bong Bailon of Legazpi City. Bishop, good morning.
Good morning. Do you hear me? Okay ba?
Yes.
May I start the prayer now? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our concern should be not only to live as we ought, but also to do so in the sight of men, not only to have a good conscience, but also so far as we can in our weakness, so far as we can govern our frailty, to do nothing which might lead our weak brethren into thinking evil of us. Otherwise, as we feed on the good pasture and drink the pure water, we may trample on God's meadow, and weaker sheep will have to feed on trampled grass and drink from troubled waters. God, our loving Father, these words from the great Saint Augustine come to mind as we gather at this online forum to celebrate, among others, the 7th anniversary of Tapatan sa Aristocrat, as well as to share our thoughts and listen to each other's insights in the spirit of fraternal love and friendship, of truth and healing, of unity and peace, aware of our utter dependence on you. At this point, we pray for our guests who have so generously given their time to be with us today. We thank everyone who continues to make this Tapatan possible, from the management and staff of Aristocrat Restaurant, to the cooks and waiters, and of course, to our anchor and host, Mr. Melo Acuña. To you we entrust as well all our resource persons, and in a special way, those who have gone ahead of us. Among them, Commodore Rex Robles and former Secretary Perfecto Yasay. Lord, before we begin, we come to you as your children in dire need of your grace, even as we face today's challenges that burden our hearts and cloud our minds, trials that threaten our unity as a people, our growth and progress, not the least of them, this COVID-19 pandemic that we cannot seem to control nor overcome. Because of this, our economy is on its downturn, and hundreds, maybe even thousands, are now jobless and face a bleak future, especially our overseas Filipino workers. More recently, with the passing of the anti-terrorism bill, many fear that this will lead to greater social instability and further division. And we cannot forget the sad plight of our brothers and sisters languishing in jails, at least some of whom are wrongly accused. In the face of abject poverty, we hunger for your life. In the midst of social unrest, we seek your peace. Confronted with lies and fake news, we search for your truth. Aware that we have failed to show compassion and love, we beg for your mercy and pardon. Grant us, O Lord, our God, the ability to scrutinize the times in which we live and to interpret events in the light of your truth. May we keep watch in the night of our uncertainty and despair, and like sentinels, watch for the coming of the dawn. May your light lead us to know you, and knowing you, know also that all men and women are our brothers and sisters. Bless our gathering, O Lord. Help us to see the positive in people amidst the climate of negativity and mistrust. Make us partners in your creative power. Show us the way with your unfading light. Grant us the wisdom to choose what will bring about true progress, unity, and peace, all for your greater glory. You who live and reign with the Son and the Holy Spirit, God forever and ever. Amen. Mary, Mother of us all, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Maraming salamat po, Bishop. Inaantabayan na po natin mga kaibigan si Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Makakasama po natin in a short while. We are also joined by our good friends, Henry Lim Bonlyong of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Kasama rin po natin mga kaibigan si Ambassador Benedict Huico na siya po namang Pangulo ng Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We're hoping a representative of the International Chamber of Commerce will be available this morning at ganun din po naman yung Employers Confederation of the Philippines. We'd like to hear the views of our friends from the business sector. Simulan po natin kay PCCI President Ambassador Benedict Huico kung ano ang kanyang pananaw sa nagaganap ngayon. Mr. Ambassador, please, would you care to tell us your views about COVID-19 and PCCI?
Well, yung COVID-19 in general, Melo, I think our officials, they're trying their best to contain this pandemic and at the same time flatten yung tinatawag nilang epidemic curve. On the other hand, kung tinitignan ko yung kung ano ang nangyayari sa Thailand, sa Vietnam, sa Taiwan, yung kanilang epidemic curve bumababa na. Actually, pero yung sa atin, hindi pa natin nakikita yung epekto ng ating matagalang lockdown. So, it brings a certain concern sa atin with respect to how effective our fight is against the COVID. Although we acknowledge that everybody seems to be trying their best. On restarting the economy, Melo, the President has called for a special session. It looks like finally si Secretary Dominguez at yung ating mga legislators are hopefully close to a compromise. Because hindi natin may restart ang economy kung wala yung stimulus program. So let me just stop here, although there are other points which I might have to bring up later. Thank you.
Salamat po, Ambassador Huico. Mula sa Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce, can we hear from our good friend, si Dr. Henry Lim Bonlyong? Ano po ang inyong masasabi sa nagaganap ngayon? Henry? Uy, nawawala yung contact ni Henry. One more time. Okay. Dr. Henry Lim Bonlyong, one more time. Yes, please. Aha. Naka-unmute na siya. Ano kaya nangyari? All right. Babalikan po natin ang Pangulo ng Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We have with us Sunny Africa of Ibon. Sunny? Sunny? Yes, please. Good morning. Good morning, Sunny.
Magandang hapon, Sir Melo. Magandang umaga, Sir Melo.
Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. How does Ibon look at the economy now?
Sorry. Mag-alert lang sana ako. Well, para sa amin medyo nakakalungkot. We're looking forward to the discussions in Congress about the stimulus bill. Like many, we were disappointed that the administration didn't seem to decide. to do enough to help the economy. But right now things are quite bad, and I think if the new session is the special session is an indication that it's taking the problem more seriously, hopefully we'll have something to look forward to.
Anong pwedeng gawin at this point in time?
Well, sa amin, if we start from the government appreciating that the problem isn't just a supply side problem na kailangan na support ng negosyo, if they accept that there's also a demand side problem, that there's too much unemployment and too low incomes, especially among the informal sector, hopefully that prompts them to give more money, and put more money in people's pockets, actually for a more effective stimulus program. So we think things can be done, but it will need money, and the government, I think, should find it in itself to find that money.
Okay. One question, Sunny, is do we have the money?
Right now, Sir Melo, it's a question of two things, no? One, realigning money from currently less productive purposes. So of course, we're referring to a lot of infrastructure projects that won't have the same stimulus effect as increasing consumption spending. And secondly, it's also a question of raising the revenues in the coming years. If the government continues to erode its revenue base, such as by the CREATE law, it's actually creating its own problem for itself. So we think that's two things that can be done. Realign from current spending for 2020, particularly infrastructure projects that spend a lot of their budget on imported materials, equipment, even contractors and laborers. And secondly, over the medium to long term, consider new revenue sources so we don't have to keep on borrowing.
Okay, very well. Pakinggan na kaya natin si Mr. Raymond Reyes, sa ating kasama mula po naman sa Aristocrat. How is Aristocrat? We miss the chicken barbecue and everything. And thank you for accommodating us for some years. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. If you remember, Melo, before we used to hold it in Nostalgia in the restaurant, di ba?
Yes.
Till this COVID thing came in, and it's a good thing you picked up right away on the conferencing and Zoom, which I talked to you about, and I didn't really know that much about it there, no? So right now, that's what we're using. So we follow the guidelines of IATF and DTI. Especially nung nagkaroon ng dine-in, 30% sa restaurant industry, it helped a bit, no? Pretty soon, I think they will open maybe in the modified GCQ, 50% dine-in, no? So right now, 30% dine-in. As you know, the restaurant industry kasi is mostly maybe 80-85% to 90% are dine-in revenues before the ECQ. So na-affect talaga yung restaurant industry and pati hotels in the restaurant side. No? But it's also important to note that it's not just in restaurant industry, employing service people, waiters, cooks, security guard, etc. But it has that multiplier effect to the economy. Meaning, aabot yan hanggang sa agricultural side. Yung mga fishermen, yung mga nagsasaka, di ba? Nagpaplant ng rice, potatoes, live mga chicken, pork, beef. So it trickles down to the economy, even to the construction industry, because if you open a store, you need to improve on your let's say interior for let's say equipments. We also spend on that, mga capital intensive equipments, even trucks, even cars. So ang laki ng multiplier effect ng restaurant industry. And I'm glad they opened 30% of that and eventually 50% of the economy. to improve on the welfare of the Filipinos. No? So, yun, we follow strict, no, we have acrylic dividers in our tables. In fact, meron pang pinagawa ko, floor-mounted screen. So if somebody sneezes or coughs, it's contained in that particular area. So it's a struggle talaga ho. I mean, mahirap itong kalaban na to. Health-wise and economy-wise, we have to balance it.
Okay. But definitely, ang
So,
sabi nila, we can surmount all this.
Is, of course, doing.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, good morning. I'm sorry, it took me 22 minutes to get in. No?
Hello, good morning.
Secretary
Yeah,
Roque,
and good morning.
Yes.
Yes,
Good morning. Nice.
I'm in and out too because it's a press briefing day,
Yes.
and we have a 10 o'clock meeting with sila ES no, on I think it's a report of commission survey. No?
Yeah.
Good morning.
So I'm in and out, but I'm so sorry. It took me 22 minutes to come in. Good morning, everyone.
Yes. Can
Good
you
morning, Secretary.
can you
Good
please
morning
tell us
po.
what's the latest? Because there seems to be ang sabi, parang tumataas yung bilang ng mga COVID-19 cases, and to which factors would you attribute this, Mr. Secretary?
Well, totoo po na ang report ng DOH ay in recent days tumaas po talaga yung ating COVID cases, no? Pero ang sa amin po ay tinitignan pa rin po natin dapat yung mortality rate una-una, at number 2 yung critical care capacity, no? We know that habang wala pong bakuna, habang wala pong gamot dyan sa COVID-19, talagang ang tanging sandata lang natin ay yung pagsusocial distancing, yung pagsusuot ng mask, yung pananatiling malusog. No? At alam din natin na sa kabila ng banta pa rin ng COVID-19, kinakailangan pong balansehin yung karapatan magkaroon ng buhay sa karapatan na magkaroon ng hanap buhay, dahil kapag hindi naman natin bubuksan ang ekonomiya, talagang baka tuluyang mamatay ang tao dahil naman sa gutom. No? So sa atin po, what we are doing is a calculated and scientific risk na bagamat tayo po ay nagbubukas ng ekonomiya, ay meron po tayong sapat na kakayahan para gamutin ang mga magkakasakit. No? So talagang ang sinasabi po natin talagang habang wala pong bakuna, talagang tataas yan. Ang pakiusap na lang po natin sa lahat ay gamitin yung mga sandata na kaya nating gamitin, social distancing, paghuhugas ng kamay, pagsusuot ng mask. No? Pero dumating na po tayo sa punto na hindi pa tayo magbubukas talaga na very difficult to the future. And alam naman po natin na we cannot afford to give ayuda to keep everyone alive. No? So nandun na po tayo sa puntong yon, and we just have to be careful and mindful and remind ourselves na ultimately whether or not we will be infected by the virus will really depend on what we do in our daily lives.
Secretary, is it too early to say that this is already the second wave?
I don't think it's a second wave because we never got off the first wave in the first place. No? So it's I mean it's harsh thing to say, but it appears that the cases are really increasing. If you look at it in the graph, no, they are increasing. So it's part and parcel of the first wave. But the good news is an overwhelming majority of the cases are either asymptomatic or very mild, and there's only less than 5% that have become severe or critical. And that is why our critical care capacity is still okay. At 10 o'clock, the meeting I'm attending, actually, mali pala, no? At 10 o'clock, I'm meeting is with the hospitals in Metro Manila kasi may kumakalat na balita na napupuno na raw ang kanilang mga ICU wards. No? So we will find out for ourselves kung ano talagang solution. Kasi kung talagang mabibreach yung ating, or we will get to a danger zone on critical care capacity, we have no choice. But if the critical care capacity is still okay, and we can still provide medical services to our people, then we have to continue opening the economy. No? So that's at 10 o'clock. And I will share the findings or whatever information we derive in my 12 o'clock. No? And at 11:30, the meeting that I have 30 minutes before my briefing is actually about a commission survey, no, on people's attitudes towards COVID-19, and I will also share the results in my 12 o'clock briefing.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you know that it's a very busy day now, coupled with the fact that I have to physically go to Malacanang now. No? So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. But before I forget, congratulations, Melo. No? Who would have thought aabot na tayo dito sa puntong ito? No? At namimiss na rin natin ang Aristocrat. Pwede ba ipadala mo sa akin yung Aristocrat for lunch at 1 o'clock?
Okay.
You're not getting off the hook, you know, just because there's pandemic, there's takeout, and there's
Oo nga,
delivery.
Melo.
So
Yeah.
please, we want our delivery of Aristocrat sent to our offices. Ako by 1 because I have press briefing at
Yeah,
12.
Nakikinig naman si Raymond Reyes ng Aristocrat. Pero
Ayun.
yung mga kapatid ko sa media would like to ask some questions, no?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Ella Maggie of National Public Radio. Ella, I know you have some questions. Ella, go ahead. While the secretary is still with us because he's leaving for some time. Or May Bermudez of GMA. Yes, would you have some questions? Siguro, ang isang
Hello.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
please. Yes, please.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
Sir,
Yes.
good morning. This is May Bermudez
Good
po ng
morning.
GMA7.
Yes,
Sir,
Mai.
Secretary Roque, I would like to ask, what is the government's expected number of COVID cases by the end of August? And how is this different from UP's estimate? Will it
I do not
reach-
know. I do not know if we have numbers, but what I do know is we're working with UP, no? And of course, that's very controversial as far as I'm concerned, but I will continue telling people as much as possible, use the weapons that we have against the spread of COVID-19. The mathematical projections are there, but we should not accept them. We should think that we can have lesser cases than what is forecasted because that's how we survive. The mathematical formula, I'm sure, are rather accurate. They have been accurate. But I think a major change in behavior will result in still in lower numbers. No? At least kahit papaano, it should not reach the forecast kasi you see how big the forecast is now. No? By end of July, they're forecasting 60 to 70,000. And by end of August, they're even forecasting more. No? Now, I have no doubts that it will go up. How much it will go up, I think, can still be influenced by the people, even if the mathematical formula seems to be tried and tested. No? I don't think we should accept it. I think we should still take steps, social distancing, washing of hands, wearing of masks. Kasi alam, very powerful naman yung wearing of mask, for instance. No? It reduces the risk of acquiring the disease by 85% and social distancing by 80%. So kakayanin naman po yan. And even if my remark of being happy that we did not meet the June projection negatively, we'll continue doing it. Whereas will I continue to speak in public if not to send a message that we can actually overcome this disease? No? I refuse to accept that we cannot overcome this disease. We can do it.
All right. Sir, follow-up question. Will the government consider implementing a stricter community quarantine with the rise of COVID-19 cases po?
We're no longer just looking at the rise of COVID cases. As I said, it has always been case doubling rate coupled with critical care capacity. So even if we have rising cases and, as we intensify our testing, we really expect more positive cases, no? We have to look at whether or not it is increasing at a rate that we cannot sustain as far as medical attention is concerned and capacity to give care. No? So kung hindi naman po talagang tumitindi yung case doubling rate, right now we're at 7, at kung hindi naman po nauubos o nasa dangerous level yung critical care capacity natin, I don't think there should be any reason. Isa pa, tingnan din natin yung mortality rate nga po. No? Kung ang mortality rate naman ay palaging bumababa, even if the cases are moving up, that means we can provide critical care to our people. No? Nagkaroon na kasi ng parang further competence ang ating medical profession in dealing with COVID-19. No? Ngayon, nalalaman na natin na this is not a case of just the lungs failing. It's a case of inflammation. And that's why we now are using anti-inflammatory drugs. And even in PGH, nalalaman nila na hindi naman kinakailangan talaga mag-ventilator. It's as simple as having the patient lie flat, no? So yung mga ganun ba, it's the reason why we are able to maintain very low mortality now, something that we should have done from the very beginning, like Singapore, no? So take note that Singapore, although we have almost the same number, has only 5 million people. So in terms of per million density, their situation is more dire than ours, but they continue now to open the economy because then they can provide critical care to those who are sick and they can prevent deaths.
All right. Thank you, Secretary.
Meron pong tanong dito si Paul Icamina. Ang sabi po ni Paul, meron daw report ang South China Morning Post Secretary na wala na raw pera ang gobyerno, paubos ng pera to repatriate OFWs have become displaced refugees due to the pandemic. Would you care to react to that?
Well, whether or not you have coffers is a matter of public record. But fortunately, because we had sound fundamentals before COVID-19, we have the best ever credit ratings that we've had, and we've borrowed in excess of $6 billion now, which we haven't spent. So wag po kayo mag-alala. That's why we borrowed at the time when we could borrow at the cheapest rates because of our credit ratings in anticipation of future needs for COVID-19. So we have more or less in excess already of $6 billion available to augment our local revenues, no, for the COVID response.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, today, I will report on how the $6 billion are allocated for spending.
Really? Mabuti po kung ganun. So we'll have something to look forward to at lunchtime today. Pero nabanggit daw po ninyo, sabi ni Paul Icamina, that the government can no longer provide social amelioration funds to everyone. Does this mean that the SAP funding has run out and that no ayudas are in the pipeline in the near future?
I think it's a matter of record that the SAP for Bayanihan Law or the Bayanihan Act 1 has or is about to be used up because the second tranche is already being distributed. No? So Congress must allot further funds for ayuda if we need to give ayuda to areas which are completely locked down.
Okay, very good. Si Attorney Tony Ligon is on the line. Tony? Yeah.
Magandang umaga, Melo, and congratulations. Hi, Secretary. Magandang umaga po. Ang question ko, I appreciate what our government is doing. At siyempre, comparable naman sa mga ginagawa sa ibang bansa. Ano bang nakikita pa nating support sa mga small and medium-sized enterprise? Kasi nandyan din yung sa aking maliit na pag-aaral ng ekonomiya, no? Nandyan din yung buhay ng ekonomiya natin eh. Kapag yung mga maliliit at medium-sized bumagsak, pati yung susunod na rin kasi yung mga malalaking malls, mga malalaking companies, nakadepende rin dyan sa mga small and medium size, mga supplier and everything.
Okay. Good. Yes, Secretary.
Yung aking karanasan po bilang an entrepreneur, lahat po ng mga maliliit na negosyo bagsak.
Oo nga.
No hope of recovering, no? Yeah. And for the first time in my life, I will have to subsist using my salary, which hasn't arrived, no? Because it's almost 3 months and I still don't have a salary. No? I don't know why government takes so long to give the salary to people. No? So I am fully empathize. We have almost finalized Bayanihan 2. Bayanihan 2 will provide a stimulus package, particularly to small and medium enterprises. There will still be cash for work. There will still be very cheap loans to be given to the small and medium industries. And you already have these kinds of programs being implemented by DTI, by DA, by DOLE, and we expect that more funding for the small medium enterprises will be provided under the Bayanihan 2 stimulus package.
Yeah, let's hear from Legazpi City.
Nice to hear.
Secretary, sandali po. Si Bishop Joel Bailon of the Diocese of Legazpi. Yes, Bishop, how is it today in Legazpi as far as COVID-19 is concerned? Meron bang pang-umuwi?
Yes. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, Secretary Roque. Magandang umaga po. Actually, we're quite happy here. The positive news is that wala ko kaming local transmission. For the last 2 to 3 weeks, we have not had any positive COVID-19 cases na recorded galing dito sa local, na transmitted locally. Pero meron ho kami mga positive cases from those who are coming home from outside cities, Manila, Cebu. Ito nga ang bunga ng Balik Probinsya program. As a matter of fact, I hear there seems to be some efforts on part of our local government heads to request na kung pwede yatang i-suspend muna itong Balik Probinsya kasi dito nang gagaling ang mga positive cases namin. Yung mga although thanks be to God, another thing that we are to be thankful here in Legazpi and Albay for that matter is that hindi serious ang grave cases ang mga COVID positive sa amin. And we continue to have our rapid testing. Yung mga dumarating may rapid testing and then later on after kasi we know that rapid testing is not very accurate. We have to rely still on the swab test yung So ito ang ginagawa namin and there are a lot of quarantine facilities. Practically every single municipality has its own para ma-monitor namin. And of course, the other problem naman, the downside here is that hindi lahat are being honest. Some just disappear. So nahihirapan kami mag-contact tracing, maghanap sa kanila. Pero thanks be to God, like I was saying, karamihang mga positive cases namin yung galing sa labas ng probinsya.
Okay, let's hear from Secretary about the people going back to the provinces.
I know that there is an appeal from the Bicol region to hold the sending of locally stranded individuals back home. No? Pero alam nyo, we had similar moratorium imposed on Caraga or Region 6 dun po sa Cebu, at saka Region 8. No? And the reason why we imposed the moratorium as far as the IATA is concerned is because they lacked space for quarantine. But I understand in Legazpi, there's ample space for quarantine. And we need kasi to implement what the president said, no? That the right to travel is a constitutional right. And as much as possible, LGUs should accept them because it's as simple as providing 14-day quarantine. And of course, if you have PCR capability, then it's as simple as testing them, PCR, and releasing them after their test yield negative results. No? So na-consider na po ang appeal ng Bicolandia, and the assessment was, although baka it could change, is that as of now, you have sufficient facilities for quarantine to accept your LSIs. Hindi naman po natin po pwedeng hindi pa uwiin yung mga kababayan natin sa mga local government units dahil saan naman sila titira, no? Dahil stranded na sila sa Metro Manila. So we will arrive with a new protocol for LSIs. Please understand that LSIs were a new phenomenon. These were people who held tickets, confirmed tickets to fly home, and the local government units did not accept them. That's why the airlines could not fly them home, no, and honor their contract of transportation. No? So ang proposed protocol po ngayon ay pauwiin, tapos bigyan ng PCR test, quarantine, meanwhile while awaiting results, which is similar to the protocol that we have for OFWs now. No? Kaya nga lang po, we need to amend the protocols kasi unless we amend it, PhilHealth will not pay for the PCR tests. Pero ang aking i-emphasize po, hindi po totoo na ang rapid test is not as accurate as PCR. Already, John Hopkins has said that PCR is only good or accurate at least 60 to 80% of the time from the 3rd to the 8th day of infection. Samantalang ang rapid test po, even years after, kung may traces na antibodies, can confirm na nagkasakit ka na. And the accuracy of rapid test is almost similar to PCR pagdating po doon sa IgM na tinatawag or when you are infectious. Mas maganda pa nga yung rapid test kit because even if you are on day 0 or day 1, madidetect na niya yung IgM. So I really don't know why, well, unfortunately, the Department of Health has taken the view that they don't like rapid test kits. But if you look at the experience po of Wuhan, Singapore, Vietnam, let's look at Vietnam. Vietnam extensively used rapid testing kits. In Africa, the UK is helping manufacture rapid test kits that cost as little as $1.50 US. No? And of course, the difference is that PCR is costly. I had a PCR test and it cost me $3,000. No? Whereas a rapid testing kit, it can be as low as the purchase price for a Project ARC, in fact, is 450 pesos. No? Now, so what we do is we complement them naman. So if you test negative on rapid test, okay na yon. But if you test positive, confirmatory test with PCR. So wag po kayo matakot sa rapid test kits. Yan po talaga ginagamit ng mga bansa na nasumpo ang COVID. Nagkaroon lang siya ng PR problem dito sa problema sa Pilipinas because DOH from the very beginning did not like rapid test kits, and it had to be the president to authorize the use of rapid test kits, and that's a matter of record. Dahil until now, lililimit pa rin ng DOH ang paggamit ng rapid test kits despite the order of the president to authorize their purchase and to distribute them. So, yun lang po.
Secretary, without sounding malicious, what could be the reasons na nagdadalawang isip ang Department of Health sa paggamit ng rapid test?
Because they're more predisposed towards the PCR, which they call the gold standard. But if you look at the John Hopkins study, no test is perfect. They both have advantages and disadvantages. And right now, if you want to completely expand your testing program, your targeted testing, you have no choice but to use rapid test kits, which they have been doing now in Metro Manila. No? What they do is they test 20,000 people in the barangays where the cases are very high. All those who test positive are given PCR tests. All those who are tested as IgG positive, meaning may immunity na, at least alam mo nagkasakit na at hindi na manghahawa.
Yeah. Okay, sandali po, Secretary. Bishop, will that be all right with you, yung ganong sitwasyon? Ano po ang nakikita nyo?
Ang karanasan po namin kasi dito, Secretary, is that it's both false negative and false positive, as they say. Totoo ho yun, we rely always on the rapid test kasi that's the immediate available way to test people. Pero we see to it that even if you are found negative with the rapid test, you still have to undergo the swab, the PCR. But that's what we do here. Ang problema nga ho yun, while we do have, yes, correct po si Secretary, about the facilities that we have, because practically every LGU has one or several, in fact some of them do. Ang problema yung negative na hindi na ma-contact later on, then saka lang na may na-discover na infect sila, something like that. So yun ang concern po namin, yung how we can
of course, Bishop. Of course, Bishop, the protocol pa rin is PCR kasi right now can only be given to those with symptoms or those who had contact. We do the same protocol also for rapid tests, but because they're cheaper, you can administer them even to those who did not have contact and who did not have symptoms. No? So you're actually expanding your targeted testing if you use rapid test kit. At ang sinasabi namin, absolutely wala pong pitfall yung number one, expanding the sample of your testing using rapid test kits. Ang importante lang po siguro yung sinasabi nyo sa mga false negative and false positive. Kasi marami rin pinapasok na mga brands na dubious. Pero we have about 5 brands that have been validated already. And if you use the 5 brands na validated, including Halgen and Boson, which are the brands that we're using in Malacanang to protect the president, I don't think there should be a problem. But the same naman po ang protocol dyan. If you're asymptomatic, for instance, if you have symptoms and you tested negative, that doesn't mean you're off the hook. You still go on quarantine. So it's still the same protocol naman with the PCR. If you're symptomatic and you test negative, you still have to go on quarantine. So it's still quarantine ultimately. That's the eventual tool. And kaya nga po yung appeal ng Bicolandia, for as long as you have sufficient space for quarantine, hindi po inimpose yung moratorium on returning LSIs.
Okay, thank you very much. May tanong po si Ella Mahe ng National Public Radio ng Estados Unidos. When do we see jeepneys flying the streets of Metro Manila? And
they're back.
UP has come up with another projection for July with 60,000 infections. Do you think we will hit that number, Secretary?
I hope not. I still hope not, and I will continue to exhort our people to do all efforts so that we do not hit that number. Wala pong mawawala doon, wala pong masama doon. Pulaan na nila ako ng pulaan. But if I can't exhort people to try to minimize the cases of COVID, what am I for?
Yeah. Yung jeepneys.
They're back in the streets. There's 6,000 of them back roadworthy.
All right. Any idea kung anong gagawin natin if the hospitals in Metro Manila will say, napupuno na kami? What plan B or plan C do we have, Secretary?
We go back to stricter quarantine.
Okay. Any message sa mga kapatid natin sa media?
Or provide more facilities.
Okay.
Well, maraming salamat po ulit and congratulations.
Yeah.
May question pa pala pahabol, but I have to go soon. Yeah.
Yes, please. Okay.
Secretary, just out of the box, no? Basically, you said there are 5 brands that are okay sa rapid test, no? And I agree with that. Okay, rapid test mo, tapos pag positive yung PCR, gold standard, etc. Pag negative,
with symptoms,
sir,
ano pa rin?
if
Quarantine pa rin.
If you can give a free rapid test, i-testing nyo sa, let's say, Quezon City or a smaller area, and free, libre sa public lahat, ganun, para makita natin, okay, next step is PCR, etc. Because sometimes people are hesitant.
Ginagawa po yan. We purchased about 250,000 rapid test kits. Binigay po yan ng gobyerno sa mga local government units, lalo na yung wala pang PCR facilities. Tapos ginagawa po ngayon yan ng Project ARC. Ang nakakalungkot nga po dito sa mga initiative ng private sectors, dahil nga po sa DOH memorandum, minsan hindi na nagagamit yung rapid test kits. For instance, Cebu, there's a donor who donated 100,000 of the Mercedes-Benz of rapid test kits, Halger. No? They did use it because of the DOH guidelines. No? That was before the president spoke and said he will authorize it. But until now, if you look at the protocol of DOH, it's a very limited protocol, no? But you know, you really have to compare with what other countries are doing, and they have relied substantially on a combination of rapid testing kits and PCR. Ang nangyayari sa atin, talagang because of the bias against rapid testing kits, parang pag wala tayong PCR, we're helpless, which is not the case. Kasi pareho naman yung protocol dyan eh. You know, ang determinative dyan is if you have symptoms or if you have been exposed. Regardless of the results, you still quarantine. Kaya lang, kapag positive and you have no PCR facility, talagang ano na yan, institutional quarantine and not just home quarantine. So yun lang yung difference dun eh.
Okay.
Tapos isa pa pong development that DOH should consider, no? I'm just saying this because we're a limited group, no? Is pooled testing. How does pooled testing work? Get 20 people, swab them, use a common reagent. If the result of the 20 people turns out positive, you give PCR to each and every one of them. But if the results are negative, they're all cleared. That's pooled testing, and that's what enabled Wuhan to test 11 million people in 2 weeks. Pooled testing combination with rapid testing, no?
Okay.
So, okay. Oh, sige. Okay. I have to go now.
1 minute. 1 minute, Secretary. From PCCI, Ambassador Benedict Iwico, would you have anything for Secretary Roque? Yes, please.
I think Secretary Roque has to go now. So
go ahead. I have 1 minute to go.
Message lang is stay safe, Secretary Roque. You're doing a great job.
All right.
Thank you, sir. It's very challenging because you know what happened recently. But I reiterate, I did not break any regulations. It was MGCQ. I am an authorized person, but still I have to apologize because people didn't like it. But I hope it did not affect my ability to tell people to do the right thing at the time of COVID. And I would need your support for this. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Have it.
Thank you, Secretary. See you later. Okay, from PCCI.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. And then from PCCI and the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and from IBON, what do you think should be part of Bayanihan 2, Ambassador?
Yung Bayanihan 2, Melo, actually, there's a lot of very good things there. Ang I don't want to use the word pinag-aawayan, where there is disagreement is actually the levels of appropriation that yung Congress has inserted. Kasi ang concern ng ating Department of Finance saan natin kukunin yung ating panggastos dito sa Bayanihan 2 program. And so yan ang pinag-uusapan nila ngayon. But there are a lot of very good things there. For example, yung funding towards the DBP, funding towards the Land Bank of the Philippines para tulungan yung ating mga MSMEs. Nandiyan lahat yan. Yung mga, even yung Social Amelioration Fund na nabanggit nyo earlier, nandiyan dyan. So, we just hope that itong special session, ma-resolve na lahat yung mga kanilang disputes para makaabante na tayo because we really need to go forward. Ewan ko if people are aware, but we are now in a recession. And the last time we had negative growth was 20 years ago, Melo. And so this is not something that we should take very lightly. We have to restart our economy as quickly as we can.
Okay. Ano kaya ang pananaw ni Sunny? Sunny, mula sa Ibon, how do you look at things these days? Because, kailangan magkaroon ng session, magkaroon ng Bayanihan 2. Anong tingin mo rito, Sunny? Please.
Well, Sir Melo, like I said, welcome talaga na magkakaroon ng special session para pag-usapan yung Bayanihan 2. Kasi step forward na yun. Naalala natin yung original stimulus packages na almost 1.4, 1.5 trillion na proposed by Congress ay sabi ng Department of Finance walang pondo. So in that sense, very positive na at least may na-entertain na Bayanihan 2. Pero may 3 major points kami. Una, dapat yung economy, hindi lang isipin ng ekonomiya ay yung mga negosyante. Malaking part ng ekonomiya actually ay yung mga tao. So actually medyo nakakatakot yung statement ni Sec Roque kanina na wala tayong ayuda to help everyone. Masyadong defeatist siya eh. Kasi kung hindi i-consider na kailangan ng tulong ng milyong-milyong Pilipino in the middle of the worst, literally the worst unemployment, underemployment crisis in Philippine history, making one-sided lang yung approach nila at masyado mag-focus dun sa mga businesses which do need the help, granted. Second point, may tendency na nasisindak tayo dun sa daan-daang bilyong pisong binibigay na ayuda in the past. Pero gusto ko may highlight. Actually, even yung nabigay na ayuda over the past 3 to 4 months ng lockdown, sa totoo lang, sobrang konti siya. If we break down yung natanggap ng mga 4Ps beneficiaries natin over the last 3 months, magugulat kayo. On the average, 9 pesos per person per day lamang ang additional aid na nakuha under the Bayanihan Act. Because ang provision ng Bayanihan Act, hindi 5 to 8,000 for everyone. Kung ikaw ay existing 4Ps beneficiary, it's 5 to 8,000 minus yung existing cash grants na nakuha mo na. So on average, 9 pesos per person per day lamang ang nakuha ng 40s beneficiaries natin. So second point namin yun, even yung nabigyan na ayuda the last period, is that actually far from what was needed and also far from what is the impression being given na malaking tulong na bigay sa kanila. Yung third point, we do agree, kailangan talaga ng mga business natin ng support, especially the small and medium enterprises. But ang very striking, the way Bayanihan was designed, and even the way Bayanihan 2 is designed, it only targets, in effect, yung mga nasa formal sector. At malaking problem yun kasi right now, yung napapasok ng mga employees natin, workers natin in the formal sector, by our estimate about 6.5 million Filipinos lamang ang pasok sa formal sector na yon, leaving about 35 million Filipinos employed but either in unregistered MSMEs or mga mga magsasaka natin, mga isda. So the way Bayanihan 2 is designed, it seems to say all the right things na may cash for work daw, etc. But in practice, the way the government bureaucracy works, they will only be giving that support to formal enterprises. And actually, may worry kami, baka ma-corner pa ng mainly large enterprises yung support na yan. So yung third important point namin, we welcome the support from micro, small, and medium enterprise in Bayanihan 2, but it has to be signed more inclusively, na hindi lamang yung ilan in the formal sector ang maabot. Kasi kahit sabihin na nakita namin yung Bayanihan 2 bill na nasa Senate ngayon, it seems like a lot na may 111 billion pesos for businesses. If that 100 billion pesos only goes to enterprises covering 6.5 million Filipino workers, that will leave behind at least 35 million Filipino workers. At yung suma namin sa 3 points na yan, the Bayanihan 2 is, again, in-affirm lang ni Secretary Roque by saying na we don't have to help everyone. Bayanihan 2 is not designed to help Filipinos in need. Bayanihan 2 will still leave tens of millions of Filipinos behind on the pretext of helping a few, mainly large enterprises and some formally registered micro, small, and medium enterprises. So para sa amin, hindi, alam mo, itong last few weeks, ang favorite na thought in my mind right now, yung kung gusto maraming paraan, kung ayaw maraming dahilan. Yan ang nangyayari ngayon. Kung gusto ng gobyerno tulungan yung maraming Pilipino, pwede hanapan ng rekurso, pero apparently ayaw niya because mas mahalaga sa kanya yung sinasabing credit worthiness, mas mahalaga sa kanya yung pinangako ng mga infrastructure projects. At gusto namin i-stress, it's been 4 months since sinasabi na babalikan yung build. Pero very, very striking, hindi sinuyod actually yung build para identify ano yung mga build projects that won't actually stimulate the economy. Parang naging article of faith na infrastructure is the best stimulus. Hindi yung totoo. It is infrastructure spent on local materials, on local contractors, on local workers. Of course, it's a good stimulus. Pero marami sa build projects natin will be spent on imported materials, imported equipment, imported contractors, and worse, even imported laborers. Hindi yung stimulus for the local economy that's stimulating where we're importing all those inputs from. So sana, yung sacred cows administration, it's a matter of prioritization. If we really want to help Filipinos in the Philippine economy, it should ensure as much as possible whatever we're borrowing, whatever revenues we're generating, dapat ibalik sa Philippine economy, not nalileak to foreign economies.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Melo, Melo, this is Dicky. Can I make a comment lang?
Yes, please.
Okay. I heard what the gentleman said, no, sa Ibon Foundation, but I kind of just want to balance it a little bit from the point of view of what the government is doing right now to try to correct the situation. They cannot do everything, but let me just give one example of what they're doing to help specifically yung MSMEs. No? We at PCCI last week signed a memorandum of agreement with Small Business Corporation. Ang Small Business Corporation is a subsidiary of the Department of Trade and Industry. And ang novel idea na implement ng government through PCCI is this, na pwedeng pautangin ang MSEs ngayon through this program na yung MSE does not have to issue any guarantee or any collateral. So that is very, very important. Up to 500,000 pesos can be lent to an MSE para makatulong sa kanilang working capital para...
Ito na yung sinasabi ni Ambassador.
Yes.
Sabi niyo noon.
Yes, walang maraming papeles yan. Ang kailangan lang dyan is papel nila na registered sila sa SSS, papel nila na accredited sila sa PCCI, at least kakilala. Ang iipon ng mga papeles niyan ay ang PCCI iintrega sa SBC. Tapos SBC tuloy-tuloy na. Hopefully through the G-card system, tuloy-tuloy yung funding sa small business. So I just want, marami pa yon. Ang unang amount, anyway, I just wanted to mention that there are in fact things which the government doing, which PCCI appreciates para makatulong sa ating MSMEs. Hindi nila nagagawa lahat, but I think they are starting to listen to private sector para matulungan natin yung mga maliliit na negosyo.
Paano kasi yung mga Bombay, wala silang pakialam kung anong credit rating mo. Basta may pwesto ka, pautangin ka na sa 5-6, right? Parang ganon.
Yeah. Ang sabi pa nga nila, biro daw eh. Yung SB, ang para yon sa Bombay.
Sa Bombay. Okay. Let's hear from the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce. Mr. Dr. Henry Lim Bonlyong, please. Alam ko kanina pa kayo nakikinig dyan. Tell us your views about what's going on.
Hello, Melo. I'm sorry, medyo naklid ako na although ay nakinig ko naman ng sa ibang foundation, si Ambassador Ico, si Tiki, saka si Secretary Roque. But on the part of the federation, itong regarding itong sinatanong mo tungkol sa itong stimulus package natin na bayanihan 2. Alam mo naman dito sa itong nangyari dito sa itong COVID na ito, the government spent so much already, ayuda, whatever. It cannot go on and on forever. Nakailang buwan na tayo, dyan pa rin. Do you know other countries, they are left with no choice, but kahit na mas maraming naka-infected, but they really have to open the economy. It's whether, it's not a choice of human lives, as against business. It's a matter of survival talaga. Kasi unless you open up the business, wala talagang pera papasok eh. Wala naman talagang income ang gobyerno, walang how can you give more ayuda, The only thing is that we should be able to do all the necessary kailangan precaution, social distancing, washing our hands, face mask, face shield, whatever. Pero we really have to open one at any lalo itong sa tingnan mo sa mga itong mga sa education natin although we respect the of the government na dapat meron tayong munang na ang bagong tayong i-open whatever na but then again kailan pa yan pero right now all of the private school are suffering already. Hindi sila makabukas ang eskwela nila, yung mga guro nila, hindi sila makasweldo, whatever. This goes on and this has a tremendous effect upon the whole economy. So it's really a matter of trying to balance in dalawa, business and human lives di ba? Pag walang business, pag hindi na open up, wala. It will have the time mag-dry up ng coffers ng gobyerno, lahat ng business, mamatay lahat ng negosyo natin, lalo tayong lahat mamatay na rin, di ba? But if you open up business, itong mga negosyante, they can make money again, they can pay the taxes, whatever, sa gobyerno. But of course, there were more people infected because of itong transmittal or whatever na they do not follow the necessary, Pero it's a choice between the two evils. Ano ba talaga? Gusto tayong mamatay na lahat o gusto tayong kahit na paano may survival pa rin tayo. So these are the things that we are looking at. But hopefully, we have to I do not want to argue with anybody, but this is a thought of a lot of people also. Kasi yung mga iba, sabi nila, if you look at yung mga namatay sa COVID-19, the whole world, actually 91% mga lalaki. Ang babae, mga 9% lang yan. Hindi ko alam kung bakit, pero siguro mga babae talagang mas may resistance, whatever. But if you see those below 20, it's hardly even 1%. Kaya yung mga pumasok sa eskwelahan, mga 20 years and below, mababa, because of that 1%, pinatigilan mo silang hindi pumasok sa eskwela, pinatigil mo sila sa na yung mga private school na magsasara dahil sa dyan sa 1% na yan. So if you are a businessman, whatever, if you look at all those all those figures, you may really think twice. Ano ba talagang mangyari na yan?
Okay.
But of course, we do not want to be blamed. That mas important than yung human lives, kaysa business negosyo. Pero pag walang negosyo, walang human lives na yun.
Okay.
Let's try to balance the two things.
All right. Yeah. Tony, what do you have to say? Bago ko bumalik kay Sunny.
Kung lang po, Sir Melo, I agree po doon sa nabanggit ni Mr. Lim. May problema talaga tayo kung pinagpapangga natin yung health at economy.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes
po.
Yes, Sunny.
Yeah. I agree with si Mr. Lim po na may danger dun sa pagpapangga natin yung health and economic kalusugan o kabuhayan. Pero I think very straightforward naman before we can get the economy restarted, people have to be confident na we can go back to our daily life. At yun ang pinaka-nakakalungkot I think right now, and also pointing to where the biggest kumbaga binding constraint is to restarting the economy. We're not containing the virus. We did some quick computations kagabi. It took the Philippines 96 days to reach its first 10,000 cases, but the last 10,000 happened in just 8 days. So para sa amin, unforgivable yun na after 5 months of supposed COVID response, after supposedly repeated claims na we're beating the virus, we're not And as long as may data na ganyan, no matter what the government says na Diba, si Secretary Roque is font-fluing selectively certain numbers, but some numbers are more important than others. Right now, the most important number is that the virus is still accelerating. And as long as people know and feel the virus is accelerating, they have to go back to their normal spending and producing habits. So para sa amin, gusto talaga namin is-stress talaga, hindi dapat contradictory yung usapin ng health versus economy. We address the economy first and foremost by addressing health problem natin. At nakakalungkot talaga na sobrang kapos na kapos pa rin ngayon yung actually yung health response natin. And just to go back again to that last point, yung even the Bayanihan 2, it only provides 10 billion for PCR tests. Wala kami nakita in the Bayanihan 2, at least yung nakasabit sa Senate, walang binanggit about really expanding the tracing and the isolation capacities. Wala rin binanggit about expanding treatment facilities. In the end, kahit ipasa yung Bayanihan 2, kahit gumamit yung ng 10 billion pesos yung para sa PCR tests, kung wala yung sapat na pagpapalawak ng matinong tracing capacity natin, kung wala yung matinong pagpapa-expand ng ating isolating quarantine facilities, lalo in urban poor communities and where the outbreak is worse right now, in the end, babalik natin actually yung urban poor, informal sector, yung containment. Because, actually, nabanggit na ni Secretary Roque kanina, baka mag-ECQ tayo ulit. Unforgivable na talaga. I mean, as a desperate measure, sige, pwede pagbigyan na in March we needed to go on ECQ talaga. But nasa July na tayo, it's unforgivable talaga right now na we're even going to be considering going back to ECQ because hindi yan sa kaso yung napaka-basic na health measures. And yun nga, the foundation for economic recovery will come from much more determined measures dun sa health.
Okay.
Hello.
Tony?
Yeah, ang sa lang sa tama ako, nag-agree ako sinabi ni Sunny uli. Ang hindi lang ako medyo natutuwa dun sa sinabi ni Secretary yung parang gagawing solution yung stricter ECQ. Eh kung titingnan natin yung
Yes, Tony? Tony?
Hindi naman kumonti eh. Nag-ECQ na nga tayo totally. Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Ang nakikita kong bilang ordinaryong mamamayan at konting kaalaman sa ekonomiya, no? Bago tayo kasi nag-law economy muna pinag-aralan natin. Ang kailangan talaga, tama si Sunny, reconcile natin yan. Suportahan yung mamamayan. Halimbawa, yung basic give them assistance, yung magkaroon ng face mask, hindi na kailangan bibili pa yung tao. Subsidize natin ang face mask sa lahat. Tingnan mo ang Hong Kong. Hindi sila nag-lockdown ng ganun, napakatagal. Pero ngayon, normal na sila. Pero lahat ng mamamayan, halos naka-face mask. May support ng government. Ano? Yung mga support ng government, ina-appreciate natin. Pero tama nga si Sunny, dapat masiguraduhan mo na yung suporta na yan talagang effective. Like, hindi mo basta ipamimigay lang, tapos kailangan yung sa healthcare talaga. Ngayon, tama rin yung si Mr. Lim sa Philippine Chamber kasi ako bilang entrepreneur din, malaking kahirapan ng mas mangyayari kung walang pagkilos ang ekonomiya. Kasi nga, ang ordinaryong tao, mayroon siyang sense of fulfillment pag makakapasok ng trabaho yan, makakapaggawa ng hanap buhay, at kailangan maibalik natin yon. At the same time, mabigyan nga ng assurance na safe tayo habang merong tayong kinakalaban na pandemic. Hindi pwedeng ang solusyon, total lockdown uli or ECQ uli, tapos iintayin nating magkasolusyon ng buong mundo, saka tayo babalik. Talagang sasadsad ng gusto ang bansa natin. Yun lang, Melo.
Okay, yeah. Siguro, let's look forward. Anong pwedeng gawin, Mr. Ambassador? Mula sa PCCI, pinakinggan na yung suggestion ninyo na wala na munang kung anong mga requisitos, pauutangin na. Sa tingin nyo ba, sasapat na yon o may kailangan pang gawin para mabuhay ang micro, small, and medium enterprises?
Alam mo, Melo, ang pera is very, very important. So yung working capital nila. Pero meron pang mga ibang po pwede tayong gawin. For instance, para makatulong. For example, ini-encourage namin yung konsepto na innovation. Na yung ating maski yung mga micro and small businesses hanapan yung connectivity sa internet because with the online ordering and online delivery, makakatulong sa negosyo nila yon. Well, actually, I encourage them to actually look at the available existing facilities of our government. Sa Department of Science and Technology, meron silang tinatawag na onestore.com. And yan isang bagay na po pwedeng makatulong sa entrepreneur because sila pwedeng kumuha ng capital dyan or kumuha ng products para maibenta nila sa kanilang mga tindahan. Yung Department of Trade din, meron silang online platform na po pwede rin tumulong sa mga small businesses. And so there are quite a number of other things na ini-encourage namin sila. Sa PCCI itself, meron ho kaming Innovation Center na tinutulungan namin yung mga entrepreneur. Kung pera ang kanilang problema, meron ho kaming specialista ron na tutulong sa kanila na makipag-usap sa bangko or i-restructure yung kanilang mga loans and so on and so forth. So all of these things we try to put together to help our SMEs because at the end of the day, SMEs make up 99.6% of establishments in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. At yan ang ating backbone ng ekonomiya. Gaya nga nung nasabi earlier, pag hindi yan natin natulungan ng tama, pag yan pumalpak, lagot na ang buong Pilipinas. Kaya kailangan nakatutok tayo sa SMEs. Nakatutok tayo sa SMEs at tulungan natin silang mabuti.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tony? Reaction bago tayo bumalik?
Yeah, nag-agree ako completely kay Ambassador. Yun talaga, no? Kahit na hindi ka eksperto sa ekonomiya, pagmasdan mo lang yung galaw nung bago mag-ECQ, mag-GCQ, ano pa man, ang buhay talaga ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas nasa small and medium size. Wala dyan sa napakalalaki. Kasi kayong mga napakalalaki, nakaasa rin dyan eh. Kasi pumunta ka ng mga malls, makikita mo yung mga nag-ooperate dyan. Pumunta ka sa mga ibang lugar, ano? Establishmento, nandun talaga. Kaya tinanong ko ngayon kay Secretary yun, ano talaga ang gagawing programa para sa support? Mabuti naman sinabi niya na magkakaroon ng support. Ang malungkot nga lang, sabi niya parang hopeless, no? Irreversible lang sitwasyon. Doon medyo tama si Sani na ipitis yung approach doon. Pero wala, baka naman gusto lang niya talaga ipahayag yung ganun din yung observation niya. Pero sa akin, dapat talaga we accept all effort, the government, the private sector, na matutuhan na ang buhay ng kaligtasan natin ng survival ng bansa dun sa small and medium-sized enterprise. Kasama tayo lahat doon. Kasama ang maliliit na mamamayan doon. Yun ang magiging gulong talaga. Kaya sana mapagtulong-tulungan natin, ano? Lalo na kung ang gobyerno nga mapopokus doon sa ganong pagkakataon. Kaya congratulations din, Melo, sa pinili mong topic na to. Ayan.
Yeah. Dr. Henry, your thoughts bago tayo bumalik kay Sonny. Yeah.
Yeah, Melo. I agree, of course, with both of them regarding this one. Yung mga medium and small industries itong talagang backbone economy natin. Ngunit kailangan kailangan the whole business economy has really to make sure kahit na may pandemic na ito, paano ba tayong in order to avoid it. Tingnan natin ng for example Hong Kong, Singapore, yung mga ibang country na even Thailand right now is opening already. Paano ba silang what did they do right na hindi tayong ginawa? Marami tayong pwedeng natin that we can learn from them. But as I say, unless we open the economy, baka another ECQ na yan, lalong babaksak ang economy natin unless we really open up slowly and make sure that our workers are well taken off. Kagaya namin, we make sure na ang mga trabaho namin lahat may face shield, may face mask, di ba? Lahat sila may alcohol, meron silang pang sanitizer, whatever na tapos social distancing. Ito ang observe natin kasi kung hindi, if we keep on closing down whatever, wala tayong mangyayari diyan, lalong mas maraming will be suffering more, no? So let us try to see kung paano tayong pwedeng ibalik na economy natin. Yun ang importante. And federation, as far as we are concerned, we are an umbrella of around 180 different business organization. Kaya million ng mga that we are employing already. Biro mo, kung kalahati lang mga empleyado na pumapasok, kalahati, ilang milyon na rin yun. Walang trabaho, paano naman yung mga kasi ang ayuda cannot go on forever. In fact, all of our organizations, for the last 2 to 3 months, talagang we make sure that sweldo sila, nakatanggap sila ng whatever yung mga leave nila, pina-convert namin, mga 13 man nila, pina-convert, but it can only do so up to a certain extent. Kasi pag walang ekonomiya, walang pera pumasok sa mga members namin, hindi rin silang pwede tuloy-tuloy na rin yan. And the most has been closed down for 2 months. Biro mo, kahit nakakahapon, pumunta ko sa mall dyan, kahit na nakabukas yan, pero walang talagang tao dyan.
Okay.
Kaya kawawa yung mga ibang mga tenant dyan talaga. Halos hindi so they have to close down early also. Kaya kaya unless we bring it back, talagang medyo mahirapan tayo. But I think there is always a solution. Kaya mga bansa na medyo okay naman, we should emulate them. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mel.
Very good. I've been walking in the morning. Nakikita ko yung magagandang mga advertisement na nanawagan sa mga consumer. Hindi na kayo, mag-shopping na kayo. Maraming bonus, maraming perks. Pero kahit na gustuin siguro ng tao, kung wala namang pera at prioridad ba yun, palagay ko mahihirapan pa rin mabuhay yung mga mall. Sunny, yes please.
Yes, Sir Melo. Sa amin sana i-correct ng economic managers yung pag-iisip na people and households aren't part of the economy at yung negosyo lang. Tingnan namin kasi kung magawa nila yon, baka lalong ma-appreciate na may triple advantage actually to helping poor households. Kasi right now, pinagbabangga niya yung ayuda sa households dun sa tulong sa negosyante. Sa amin sa Ibon, hindi Dapat ipagsabay yon because people and households are part of the economy. Tapos sana ma-appreciate nila, be a bit more humane kumbaga. Kasi may triple advantage yung pagbibigay ng ayuda sa mahirap na households. Immediate benefit, syempre, it improves household welfare. May gastusin para sa pang-araw-araw na pangailangan, including makapagbili ng ilang personal protective equipment like face masks.
Yeah.
So one advantage doon, it improves household welfare because people are part of the economy. Ikalawa, I think sobrang underestimated. Poor households will be spending it in the local economy. And chances are, they'll be spending it on micro, small, and medium enterprises. So, kumbaga, kung compare natin, if you give 100 billion pesos to a big rail project in Metro Manila, a large part of that 100 billion pesos for that big rail project will go to buying Japanese equipment, Japanese technology, maybe Japanese contractors. Spend 100 billion pesos on aid to poor households. They'll be spending it on the local economy. Chances are on micro, small, and medium enterprises. So, second benefit nun, it's actually going to stimulate micro, small, and medium enterprises na kung nabigyan na ng tulong in terms of incentives, in terms of yung capital needs nila, makita nila, uy, may merkado pala kami because people are buying. So, second important effect yon. Third important effect, actually may aggregate demand effect yun So, it's actually improving, it's an effective stimulus to aggregate demand kasi if people are spending, that actually goes into stimulating the economy. Hindi lang supply side ng stimulus And I think yung ganong klase napaka-narrow-minded ng pag-isip ng government, it's blocking actually the government from using the scarce resources well. It's blocking them from realizing there's actually a better way to use the very admittedly scarce resources we have. Yun lang po mag-add ko po, sir.
All right. Siguro in closing, Dr. Henry Limbolyong, what do you see? Sabi kasi, designs may be written on subway walls. Sabi nga, ano nakikita niyong kinabukasan natin?
Pero I believe that tomorrow will always be better. Kaya wala tayong dyan. As long as importante naman, alam mo naman, nasa food security naman tayo. We see no problems dito sa mga magsaka naman dito. Talaga may social distancing na sila. Medyo maganda naman ang taniman ngayon. So hopefully wala masyadong bagyo itong season na ito. In fact, the government, I think they even forgo the 300,000 metric tons of rice that they'll be importing and use the amount of that one to even subsidize our own farmers. Kaya maganda 'yon. Nakikita nila talagang medyo sapat tayo ng bigas ng dito. Yun ang pinaka-importante. Basta we should be able to feed yung mga tao natin, food security. The others, well, really have to, we really have to see tayong mga negosyante together with PCCI, sa mga business organization. We are trying to do our best, to bring back the economy. Pero unless our people has the money that they can spend. Another thing pa, that we talked to, Governor, Central Bank Governor, si Ben Jokno, we would like the, mga ibang bangko, kasi mga ibang bangko, baka open ka na LC yan, baka may line ka na, pero baka open LC, for example, they will consider kung essential or non-essential. Kung non-essential, kahit na may line ka yan, hindi ka papabuksan ng LC. I think those has to be changed, in fact, I think even in Germany, yung mga I think they come out with a law na for businesses that cannot pay their loans, for example, they give them 5 years, until 5 years to amortize it, whatever, hopefully, I do not know kung itong bayanihan 2 natin, kung meron mga dito, kasi we know that Sani Angara has already proposed that a 1+1, for example, may loan ka talagang hindi makabayad mo na ngayon, they will extend it for 1 year. After next year, baka next year may pandemic pa naman, they can extend it to another year, kaya 1+1 yun. Hopefully, and I think that will give a big morale, a booster also to the businessman also.
Okay.
Kaya hopefully itong bayanihan 2 natin can be passed as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you. Ang tanong nung ating kasamang si Malu Mariano, who's watching from the United States by Zoom, Mr. Ambassador sa PCCI. So what's the next move?
Of government or private sector or?
The Philippines as a whole.
Okay, Philippines as a whole, I think that we are going to recover. Now, the big uncertainty is when we are going to be able to recover. So the resources that we have right now, we have to actually use properly, because we cannot assume that in 2 months, everything is going to be okay or everything will be back to normal. We don't know that. We have, however, to be responsible to prepare that we, the Philippine government, has enough resources to carry us through the pandemic if it takes a little bit longer or a lot longer than what we anticipate. So I'm for being prudent. I'm trying to get the government. Let's help everybody. Let's help our people. Let's make sure they are well fed. But at the same time, we have to keep our balance sheet in good condition so that if we have to borrow additionally to sustain us for the next 6 months or 1 year, we do have the resources to do this. Yun lang po.
Okay, thank you very much. Sunny, pahabol.
Sige po. Sa amin, I do agree there's always something to look forward to. Pero sana, foundational point, sana the government more seriously considers the people part of the economy. Huwag sana pagbangga yung ayuda sa tao dun sa ayuda sa mga negosyante. Kasi they're all part of the same economy. We have a common interest to move forward talaga. Tapos last point po, it's true we're in a situation of very scarce resources. But sa amin, there are 2 major points there. One, with the resources we do have, it can be spent better. And right now, we think it's much more socially economically urgent to put money in people's pockets than on big-ticket infrastructure projects that we have such a strong import component. So we can reallocate within current spending priorities, which the government has not done at all. Which is very unfortunate. But secondly, there actually is a way to raise more resources in the future, but it doesn't make sense para sa amin, for the government to think na wala tayong pondo, but then we're looking towards tax breaks as the solution, as the big stimulus. Tingin namin, kung makakatulong yung CREATE, actually the biggest beneficiaries of the CREATE law, 75% of corporate income taxes are paid by large firms. Only 25% is paid for by micro, small, and medium enterprises. So if micro, small, and medium enterprises will get some benefit from CREATE, they're only getting 25% of the benefit, and that will only be reaching the mga registered micro, small, and medium enterprises. So tingin namin, let's help both the people and let's help also our micro, small, and medium enterprises na by design right now, that isn't bayanihan too.
Very good. Sigurado interesado yung mga kapatid ko sa media magtanong kay Ambassador Yuwico. Sa inyo po ba sa PCCI, ilan na ba yung nagsabing magsasarado muna at yun talagang magsasarado na?
we are not able to keep track of yung mga magsasarado. Pero I can tell you, almost everybody wants to actually keep their businesses open given the opportunity. Wala namang nagsabi sa akin pa, ay nako, ako give up na. Meron lang akong isang komentaryo na nadinig na yung kanyang favorite Thai restaurant sa Makati na pinakamasarap, and ang attitude naging, ay sasara ko na lang muna ito. Pagbuti o pag nawala ng pandemic at saka na lang kami magbubukas. Yun lang ang nadinig ko na magsasara. Otherwise, everybody continues to try their best to keep their businesses open.
Okay, thank you very much for the assurance. Dr. Henry Lim Bonlyong ang sabi, maraming Filipino-Chinese ang laging sinasabi, lugi negosyo, wala naman nagsasarado. So, sa inyo po ba, matibay pa po ba ang negosyo?
Alam mo naman, very wide naman ang arrange ng mga negosyante namin dito. Pero ngayon, the one that is talagang heavily hit are the tourism and the hotel industries. Meron kami mga opisyales who are in the hotel industry sa Boracay, sa Bohol, sa nung nagsara ang Boracay, wala silang problema kasi meron pa silang Bohol, Puerto Princesa, ibang lugar. Pero ngayon, lahat talagang nagsarado na, kaya talagang malaking problema din nila. Kailan pa ibalik itong mga turista rito o whatever, So they are really that they are suffering, pero they are trying still to hope for the best na kahit na paano kung next year na baka pwede na unti-unti buksan ng itong mga turista natin. May naksara na rin, karamihan mga restaurant, may naksara na talaga. Whatever na Pero the others kasi sometimes they are too big para to shut down talaga Kaya they really have to kahit na mahirap na sila, but they have to think ways of how to maneuver through these turbulent waters. So as much as possible, okay pa rin kami, Melo.
Okay, thank you very much. Meron palang liwanag ng pag-asa. Tony, alam mo, parang sasabihin natin lagi para pakinggan at samahan tayo dito sa ating tapatan sa Aristocrat. Anong nakikita mo dun sa human, sa ating batas tungkol sa anti-terrorism? Ano ba nakikita mo dyan? Magkakatrabaho pa ba mga abogado o mawawala na kayo ng trabaho? Tony?
Hello, Melo. I can't hear you.
May trabaho pa ba mga abogado sa bagong batas? Nawala yung signal. Yes. Uy, nawawala. Okay. Hindi naman nanakaw ng terorista yung signal natin. Anyway, pasensya na po, mga kaibigan. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who took time out to be with us, sa ating mga panauhin, sa mga kapatid natin sa media.
Hello, Melo. Ayan. Nakita na kita.
Ayan. Sige.
Ayan. Tumigil ako.
Yun sa anti-terrorism, ano tingin mo? Uy, nawawala yung signal. Okay. Nawawala yung signal ni Tony. Anyway, maraming salamat po, and do be part of our next editions. Ang pag-uusapan natin next week tungkol dun sa online scam. Yung mga umu-order online tapos walang dumating. Okay? So, yan po ang ating menu for next week. We will have more topics, and of course the topics will have to interest you. Okay. Oops. Well, the internet is not as stable as we expect it to be. Siguro we can also talk about the internet in the near future. So, kay Malu mula sa Estados Unidos, maraming salamat for being with us. Kay Sunny, kay Dr. Henry Lim Bonlyong, kay Ambassador Benedicto Yuwico, kay Secretary Roque, kay Bishop Bong Bailon. Hindi natin nakasama yung ECOP saka yung ICC. How I wish they would take part sa susunod nating edisyon. Maraming salamat po. Thank you for the 7 good years. It's a roller coaster ride. It may have been ups and downs, but it's still the view that matters. Thank you very much to Aristocrat for being our host. Thank you. God bless us all.